Hey everybody, Phenoxo here. How's it hanging? I've got one last set of gameplay videos here. Probably not my best games, but hey, what are you gonna do? I only got to play the weekend beta for a couple hours, really. Downside of having a real job and a kid. That said, we do okay as Zarya in this game and decently enough as Pharah in the next. I'm going to try and do a little bit of commentary here and discuss a couple things with you guys to hopefully keep you entertained in the meanwhile. But to be perfectly brutally honest, I don't have a ton to say. I'm just hyped. I am super hyped. The pre-order beta starts in something like 17 hours at the time that I'm recording this. When you guys see it, it might have already started. It opens up at, I believe, 4 p.m. Pacific time on the 2nd, which it's now the 2nd according to my clock. You know, if you're having some timey-wimey stuff, maybe not for you yet, but for me, it's good to go. And I'm so hyped. I'm so pumped. I don't know how much work I'm going to get done this week, I'll be honest. I'm going to play a lot of Overwatch tomorrow. Probably for like 6 hours straight, minimum. I'll try to stream a bunch for you guys so you can watch it, so keep your eyes peeled for streams. And I believe, no, Tuesday, I will be doing a game night with some of the backers on my Patreon and playing with some of them. So that should be fun. But, yeah, I'm not going to get a lot of work done. But let's not even pretend. Writing scenes for my game is going to come to a stop so that I can play this game. And what you guys just saw there, McCree flashbanged me and spammed his right click a second time. It's one of the reasons he's so great against tank characters. He just pumps out damage up close. He can, you know, toss that, roll an instant reload, toss his flashbang, and then right click again, and just melt. Like Winston's, Reinhardt's, you know, Roadhog, any of those. He fucks tanks. That's what he does. And as I understand it, he's actually one of the stronger competitive heroes nowadays, to where a lot of people are running double McCrees to deal with a lot of the double tank compositions in tournaments. And it's so weird for me to say that. Like, the game's not out yet. We're not even to the pre-order beta, and there have been weeks and weeks of people playing tournaments, like high-level, I don't want to say professional, but there have been sponsored teams for Overwatch for months, and the game's not out. It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. Blizzard has so much support for this game. It's so polished. I'm really hoping it blows up, because it's probably the shooter I've been most excited for in a very, very long time. I think the only way I could potentially be more excited is if there was a Team Fortress 3. Oh, suck it, Winston. High Noon almost does some damage there, but Pharah saves the day. But yeah, Team Fortress 3 would probably be the only thing that could steal my hype. There's just no other games really in this sort of niche where it's a relatively fast-paced, skill-based team shooter with different heroes with wildly varying abilities. Nobody was making games like that for a very long time. And now that it seems almost like there's a small glut of them coming out on the market, but Overwatch is really the only one that's gotten my interest. And I guess there have been a couple. Well, now I can't think of the name of the game. There's been one that was sort of free to play. I just can't think of the name now. I'm sorry, it's late. But the point I was trying to make is that for a long, long, long time, there was none of these games. It was just Team Fortress 2 for years, uncontested. And now we're finally getting other games. And I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. The game's beautiful. I mean, the graphics aren't... They're not going to blow your mind. They're not Star Wars Battlefront, which is probably the prettiest game this generation that I've seen. The visuals in that game look like they came out of one of the movies. No ifs, ands, or buts. But, you know, no buts. I'm going to say but. Anyway, the point I was making there It's not as pretty, but it's very stylized and it's very beautiful. Just look at those mountains in the background. Everything just has the sense of artistry to it. The characters are all super unique and visually interesting. This is so much better than all those, modern military shooters like Call of Duty and Counter-Strike, where everybody's just some guy in a ski mask or in an army helmet. I like the superhero tone that they have set for this game. And I know I'm gushing, and I don't want anyone to think that Blizzard is paying me for this, because they're not. No one's paying me for this. I'm not big enough to get paid for anything. I'm not even big enough to get, like preview codes of games sent to my YouTube. Although, apparently Saven is. He got some like indie game codes, I hear, on his channel, which, by the way, he posts a lot of our D&D games over there. If anyone wants to see some shenanigans happening, I'll try and remember to link that in the description and get some cross-plugging going on here. Hehe, plugging. And let's see, we are on the second point here, 75% to go. It's almost a victory. We just got to hold it a little longer. Got my ult up. Winston pops his, but I throw down the bubble, get some quick charge. Monkey's not doing so great, but he is still disrupting our back line. Got a high noon dropping down, doesn't seem to do anything. I pop my ult. Winston counters with his bubble. It's a really good bubble if you, it's a really good counter if you ever get hit by Zarya's ult and you have a Winston. He can basically just throw that down and absorb the first 600 damage that comes in on him. It's very, very useful for that purpose. And Lucio clears the point somehow, and we win. GG, high fives all around. Man, look at... And to be perfectly honest, I almost exclusively play the chicks in this game, because they're all so fucking cute. Minus Zarya here, but... like, Mercy... Pharah, Tracer, Mei, Widowmaker. They're all these amazingly stylized, almost comic book women. And I really enjoy them, especially Mei. Like, she's less attractive to me and more just absolutely adorable. Oh, and you guys caught a quick look there on the wall. There are like pixel sprays for each of the characters you can unlock with achievements. And I got most of them unlocked during the stress test weekend. I'm sure they'll all be gone again for the early access beta and then disappear again before the game actually comes out for real at the end of the month. But they're very cool. I've got a couple of them saved somewhere. There's also cute stuff, like chibi style sprays. And again, those are tied to achievements. They're adorable looking. I've been using some extracted versions of them for thumbnails on my videos. So if you see those are actually in-game sprays that you can unlock. And that actually does bring me to a point I want to talk about, and that's kind of how... I want to say homogenized, but that's not the word I'm looking for. But I guess, like, samey, the spray setup has become. Back in the day, when you played, Counter-Strike or Team Fortress, any sort of PC-centric game, usually on the Source engine that had sprays, you could just put an image in a folder and then spray that down on the map. You could make like a spray that looked like a guy standing there with a sniper rifle to kind of trick people. You can make little informational ones. You could set up ones where it faded between two different images depending on how far away you were when you looked at it. And you could have ones with boobs on them. And just, post some tits on the wall. And nowadays you can't do that anymore. They're like Team Fortress 2 basically hides sprays if you're on a Valve server. So you never really see anyone's sprays. No more slapping a dong on the wall to offend or annoy people. Overwatch, instead of letting you have your own custom sprays, just has pre-made ones that you unlock. Games like Battlefield and Call of Duty, instead of letting you just upload an image, which would actually be pretty easy for them to support. Wind up making these complicated things where they have all these predetermined shapes and letters you can use, to try and prevent people from making incredibly graphic dongs. That way the worst they can do is sort of stylistic cartoon dongs. And, Overwatch takes it a degree further by just having, predetermined, pre-drawn sprays that you can unlock and pick from. I can't say I'm a huge fan of that. I like that it's an option, but I wish I had the option to just slap down some pictures too. You don't have to have that on the console versions. This game does come out for PS4 and Xbone. I don't expect consoles to have that degree of freedom, what with all of the restrictions that I'm sure Microsoft and Sony slap down. But PC doesn't need that. I know you want to be family friendly, Blizzard, but give me freedom. So it's why I was so upset. There was a whole debacle over one of Tracer's victory poses that got removed and replaced with another one. I do think the new one is definitely more in line with her character and a little more visually striking, but I don't see why the old one had to be removed too. I would like to have seen both of them. But the artist made it, it got put in the game. Why throw away that time and effort? Maybe there's a player out there who prefers the other one. I don't see it. Well, actually, now that I stop and think about it, I can see one and only one reason why they would want to limit the number of poses and such, and that's because they're unlocked via the loot crate system. So if they had a ton of poses for one character and only a couple for another, it kind of skews the odds of unlocking poses versus skins for those characters. So I can see why they would want to keep every character having a fixed number of poses. But why not? Why not give us the option to define our own poses? Give us a little pose editor where we can, make our Tracer doing like a handstand, where she's like flipping around all acrobatic, or it's Blizzard. They have the technology and the capabilities. This is one of the biggest PC gaming companies in existence. They could do this, but they don't trust their players that much. And wow, I got really ranty. I went from just gushing over how excited I am about this game to ranting about the lack of freedom in it. But to be honest, I knew it would be this way. I've played World of Warcraft, I've played other Blizzard games. They're not exactly known for giving their players a lot of control or customization, not since the days of the original StarCraft anyway. They just have a different design philosophy nowadays. They're kind of almost, I want to say, like Appleized, where they sit there and they figure out what they think is the best way to do something, and then they set up their games and their software so that that is how everything works and there are no other choices. They will give you the poses that they think are good. Never mind any others. They will give you the sprays that they think are good. You will not be allowed to, make your own. No, wow. It's a bit of an epiphany to me that they would do that really is what their design style is nowadays. And I guess it shows in how polished things are, but I don't know. I want some customization. Valve, give me TF3. I want to have a competition here between the games, so we can have some more choices. When you only really have like one or two great games in this sort of genre, you don't really wind up having that much competition. Give me more. Give me more options. With all that said, though, I'm still insanely pumped for this game. I'm still going to play the ever-loving fuck out of it. I'm still going to adore some of the pre-made sprays they've got. I'm going to adore being able to pick victory poses, which is something that doesn't even exist in a lot of games. So in a way, I guess it is sort of a new and additional customization thing. I would just like more freedom. I guess you could say that that's what I'm about. I would just like the freedom and I would like to be treated as an adult when I'm playing a game. I don't want to feel like the player base has to be censored to appeal to everybody and their brother and their little brother. That said, thank you all for watching. I'm sorry if I got a little off base and started rambling, but have a great day, and I will see you all in the pre-order or the open beta on the 3rd or the 5th, respectively. Cha-cha. Cha-cha. Cha-cha.